Yesterday on the channel, I said that I believed that a bit of a pullback was going to happen in the price as prices were finally starting to see a lot of upward momentum. And of course, as we do start to run into some resistance based off of some of those previous local highs, as well as a bunch of our Fibonacci retracement levels, that we would see some type of pullback, some type of dip. We then went over some support levels that would be important. And then we also talked about what the potential outcome could be, say, if we were to lose all levels of support, which I then said could be very, very bad. Well, what we're looking at right now is that exact pullback that we talked about happened, and it reached one of the exact levels in which we said that it would reach, which I'm actually very, very happy about. So with that going forward, we're starting to see a bit of a squeeze happening in the price, and it could be upward or it could be downward breakout that's coming any minute now, honestly. By the time I post this, it may have already moved, but I want to talk about our different options, what we could expect to see, what some interesting and important levels to watch are, and what we need to pay close attention to make sure that this thing is moving exactly as we want it to. So with that being said, of course, let's go ahead, let's jump into the charts, let's see what all is going on and how we can react to it. So what we're seeing right now, again, is a bit of a rollover. It seemingly looks as if, now that Amazon, starting to kind of deny a lot of the rumors that were going around, it seems as if there's been a bit of a pullback, but nothing really all that serious. Now, the very first support level in which we talked about this thing pulling back to that I said I really would love for it to maintain was going to be our 618 on our more of a midterm June 16th to July 20th swing high, swing low. So we can see that 618 held up very well, and I'm actually happy about that because that means that we are still in reversal territory. Now, of course, you all do know that a reversal looks something along these lines where we do work our way up. We enter into our 618 to our 786, this range here, this green box. We enter into it. Of course, maybe there could be some ranging, but eventually we break out of it, establish support, continue upwards, and set that new all-time high or new local high, whatever you're dealing with. Well, in terms of a reversal versus a retracement, of course, you guys do know that a retracement looks more of something like this. We enter into our retracement zone. We then are unable to establish support. We continue falling, more than likely going to set that new lower low and then continue a downtrend as displayed on your screen now. So what I'm excited about, again, is the fact that we are still looking at the potential to set that new higher high, to work our way out of this 786, to set the new higher high, and to then, of course, break that long-term head and shoulders in which we did talk about yesterday. So go check that out if you have not seen it yet. So what I'm looking to see, again, is that we can hold this level of support. I would say that is very optimal. If we can hold a 618 and work our way back up, that would be absolutely fantastic. But at the moment, I would say that the 4-hour RSI is starting to work its way down. It looks like we're starting to lose a little bit of buying pressure, as well as the fact that we are running into more resistance at the 786. I would say that this is starting to look more and more as if the price is starting to roll over. Well, with that being said, one thing that I did observe back in January is actually a very, very, very similar movement to what we are seeing right now. And let me explain. So what we're looking at right now, of course, is if we say we were to lose this green box right here, of course, we would start to work our way out of that. We would start to not necessarily focus on it too much until we were able to recapture it. And we would start to look at it on more of a short-term perspective. And okay, if this thing is falling that far, well, where exactly is it going? Well, of course, you guys do know that we do have our levels, in which we did talk about as well, that are going to be one right here and then one right here. These are our two retracement zones in which we would like to see the price be able to maintain. Well, I want you to pay attention to as the fact that this wedge that we formed over the last few months from May 19th to now, all of this ranging and consolidation has typically been within this wedge until we saw this breakout. Well, you guys know that I do not want to see us fall back into this wedge, but we can see that our retracement zone is actually sitting and getting split by the bullish leg of that wedge. Now, let me show why that's important. So what I want to go ahead and do is I actually want to go back to January and talk about a very, very similar movement that happened that I think could be, a bit of foreshadowing as to what we could be looking at right now. Of course, this is all speculation. I'm going off what the facts of the charts are, but that does not mean that history will repeat itself, but it's just an option and something to look at. Well, so let's kind of look at this one as we have been looking at the other one. So we go down, we set this retracement high right here. Not our highest high, this would be back before the big fall happens, but that high in which we were chasing. We go down here, boom, we set our low. Okay, now I want you all to pay very close attention to exactly how this looked because it's super duper similar, and it's actually right here. I was zoomed in a little bit too far. There we go. And I want y'all to look at how similar this is, okay? So we work our way up, we're within this wedge, we're in consolidation, and then we finally have our breakout. Well, from there, we clear our 618 to our 786 for a split second. We wick out of it, and then we end up falling back down. So let's kind of look at what we're looking at now, again, just as a quick reminder. So we're within this big wedge, we finally see our breakout, we then, I'm going to draw that Fibonacci one more time just so you can see it, we then work our way to that 618 to our 786. We wick out of it, but we're unable to hold it. So then from there, something that is a little bit different right now is that in that fall, that big pullback that we did see where it did something like this, we actually saw the loss of the 618 very fast. A good sign that we have right now is the fact that we are holding this 618. And so if we're able to hold this 618, that could be all the support that we need to work our way back up to set that new high. But again, it does look like it's remotely rolling over. So let's talk about what happened from that point forward. Well, if we go back over here and let's kind of clear some of this up a bit. There we go. A few more. There we go. Boom. Okay. So we lose that 618 and we immediately crash all the way back down to our 0.5 to our 382 range. This little range right here is, of course, our second layer of support there. But I want you guys to pay close attention to something. Well, as you guys do know, once we do lose that 618, just like we're looking at right now, we start to look at it on more of a short-term retracement perspective of, okay, how exactly is this thing falling? And now this is actually going to be a little bit lower. There we go. And so what we actually saw was that it fell. Now look at this. Remember, let's go back out here real quick just so I can show you guys one more time. We can see here, if we get rid of this Fibonacci and we start to look at it on more of a short-term perspective as we're looking at on from what happened in January. Let's go here and then let's go here. We can see we set this low, we set our high, we wicked all the way up there. But look how our trend line is diving directly into our 618 into our 786. Okay, well looky here. Very, very, very similar. Our trend line from that wedge diving straight through our 618 to our 786 as expected. Well, look at how this retracement took place. So remember, we lost that 618. Things were starting to look a little bit bearish. We were unable to set a new higher high from here. But this is the big, changing thing. This is the but, right? But what happened is that when we fell, we found that level of support, not only at our 618 retracement, as we're seeing here, but also on that trend line, which of course is going to serve as double support, which then gave us the fuel that we needed to see this uptrend continue. Well, that is a situation that could very, very possibly be playing out in front of our very eyes again if we are to lose that 618, which is going to be at this yellow line that you can see right here. So say if the price is rolling over, as we are saying. Now, I'm trying to speak a bit into the future because I don't know what's going to happen over the next 12 hours, but I want you to all know what to expect. Of course, we do have a few different levels that will maintain as support that I'm sure we would see some type of bounces at, okay? But if that's not the case and we do see a fall, we can still be looking at a continuation of our uptrend if we set a lower high. That is the whole thing, and that's what we need to pay close attention to. So as it falls, can we go down? Can we set that lower high than this low here, or that lower low, or that higher low? There we go. That higher low than we set back here, and then from there, work our way back up to establish that support we need to set that new high. It could very, very possibly be playing out. Some YouTubers were saying things along the lines of, if this is not the push that we have, if this isn't the push right now that's going to get us above, this high that we set here, well, then we're going to go crashing all the way down to 25,000. And I don't think that's necessarily true because in the past, again, as we did, let's clear all of this off. As we did see, this big movement happen in which we set, boom, we go from here, we're chasing this previous high to then chase that high. We can see here that even though we did go ahead and lose that big fall, we had a big push, we lost it. We found support on that trend line, which does somewhat actually appear to be about right there. We set it on that trend line, and then from there, we looked at our more short-term Fibonacci retracement, boom. We look at this and we realize something, that interaction was enough support to get us the fuel that we needed to start to grow, work our way out of this thing and see upward momentum. Because the whole goal here right now, the whole goal that we have right now is to set a higher high than our most recent local midterm high. This one right there. Okay, that's our goal. We were very close. But we didn't do it, and that is exactly what we want to do. Because if you guys do remember, I'm actually going to go out and I'm going to show you all. Let me get this head and shoulders pulled up for you. You can see that on a long-term perspective, again, let's remove drawings. We can see that we are looking at a potential major head and shoulders, which is, of course, not the best sign ever, right? We do not want to see this play out at all because the consequences of that could be massive. So our whole goal right now is to set a higher high than the high in which was set here. Once we do that, we can mitigate and we can start to, get away from this pattern that's forming between the head and shoulders, work our way up, clear that left shoulder back there again, and then we break that pattern, which would be optimal because we don't want to see something play out that's downside could be back around the 10,000 range. Is it possible? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But of course, we do want to see the right steps be taken to get away from that even being in the realm of possibility. Okay. And so again, guys, what we're looking at even if a fall does happen, as we are starting to see this thing potentially rolling over, is not the end of the world. We're still setting higher lows right now, boom, 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 and we're setting these higher highs. But it's going to be very important that if we're not able to push up very soon and set that higher high here, which would again be a higher high than the one we set back here, if we do fall, don't forget what we've seen in the past. We've seen in the past that trend line in which we're operating on, right? That trend line in which we're operating on mixed in with this Fibonacci retracement in which we're seeing. These interactions, these intersections have served as major areas of support, and that would be our final stand. We may find support here. We may find it here or here. But this area, this region right here is our final stand in saying, okay, we absolutely need to use this right now to go set that new higher high, or we're still realistically looking at something. Let's go ahead and let's clear this. We're looking at something of a downtrend, right? Because even if we do go and set a high that high up there, we're unable to do it. If we start going back down and set another lower low, realistically, guys, we're still looking at a downtrend, even though this looked phenomenal, okay? And so pay close attention to that if this thing does roll over one more time, that we're able to find those support levels, which we talked about. But what we've seen in the past is that this does not mean it's the end of the world. If a rollover is about to happen, it's not the end of the world, but we need to find those support levels that are Fibonacci retracements from our July 20th swing low to our July 26th swing high. Look at that intersection at that 618 to the 786, as well as that intersection between the trend line and that fib retracement level. So that's going to be about it today. I'm not sure how you guys feel about me just doing technical analysis videos such as this one, but if you guys do enjoy it, of course, if you do want to let me know, you can let me know just by smashing the like button or subscribing to the channel, or let me know down in the comment section below if you do enjoy videos of this style. Now, if you actually do like technical analysis, if it's something that you're a fan of, I do a lot of it in my Patreon. We actually had a few spots open up. We have a few spots open on the bronze and a few spots opens on the bronze early. So if that'd be something you'd be interested in, definitely go check it out and let me know what you think. And if you could sign up, of course, that would be phenomenal, and I will talk to you all there. But you guys do know the drill. I post on this channel 1 to 2 times every single day, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Pay close attention to those levels. They're super duper important, and if we do lose them, understand and anticipate that a bigger fall could be coming. So they are very, very essential that they hold strong. With that being said, if anything does happen, if anything major changes, I will let you guys know as soon as possible, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.